White House Public Library, and today for our Teen and Tween Grab and Go kit, I'm going to show you how to make branch weaving art. And so there's two different ways that you can do it. You can make a bee with your colors, like in this one, or you can go straight lines with your colors. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll get started. In your kit you should have though some branches, some smaller thread, and then some different colored yarn, as well as a needle. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started on our branch weaving. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your smaller embroidery thread and you're going to tie it to the base of your stick. Just tie a knot around it on one side at the bottom. And then you can cut off the excess. Now the wrapping part is going to be the next part and the most important. So I'm going to make sure that's close to the bottom. I'm going to go around and basically loop it kind of twice around there. And then I'm going to go to the other side, loop it once and twice. And I'm going to keep these loops close together like that. Then I'm going to go up just a little bit. I'm going to go around once and then twice. And again, keep those loops kind of together. And then I'm going to go to the other side, around once and twice. Up, around once and twice, and you're going to do that all the way till you get to the top of the branch. And do try to make sure that the string stays nice and tight. And make sure to leave a bit of a gap between the thread when you move up. And that's probably the last one I can get. So what I'm going to do, cut that off a little bit so that I can go ahead and loop this around, making sure it stays tight, and basically put a knot at the end. Go under again and knot it. So now it's knotted. They're all aligned there. And if I don't mess it up with my spacing, now I'm ready to cut off the excess. Okay, now that you're done with your stick, with the rope part, you're going to take a piece of thread, or excuse me, yarn, whatever color you want to, and you're going to go ahead and put it in through the needle. Then what I prefer to do is to, I don't really need that in, to knot the other end of the thread here at the bottom on the bottom piece of the embroidery thread. I'm just going to double knot this. And then, so I got that double knotted, and cut that little excess off. And if you want to, you could actually start on this end with your knot and leave the tail and make kind of a tassel, but I'm actually not going for the tassel look, so I'm going to do this instead. So what you want to do is you want to pick and decide to go either over or under to start with. I'm going to go under just because of how this one's kind of already over. So I'm going to go under that one. And I'm going to go over this one. I'm going to start to pull it through because it's a long piece of thread. Under this one, or over this one I should say. See, it's over this piece right here. So it will come up underneath this one. So I need to go back up here. And then I'm going to go over that one. And then I'll come up underneath this one right here. I'm going to come up underneath that one. See how that thread is underneath it? So I'm going to go over top of this one and keep pulling it through. And then I'm going to come up here, so this way it comes underneath it. So if I come up this way, it will be underneath that piece of thread. I'm going to go over, up, or you can think of it up and down if you don't, if the over under is a little tricky. Down and up. So now I'm at the end, and what I want to do, so it basically I have it woven between each thread, and now what I want to do is kind of just pull it a little tighter and push it down close to the branch. And now what you're going to do is basically go backwards. So this piece right here, I'm under it, so I'm going to go over top of it now, or down through there. So when I pull it through, don't get it caught on your branch. Basically, you see it kind of made a loop there at the end. I'm going to come back up through this one. And so now basically what I'm doing is I'm going the reverse way. So since this one, you can see it, it was over top of it. It's over top of this one, so it's underneath coming back. So like I said, I kind of want to alternate so it keeps a weaving. So now I'm going to go over top of this one because it was under to start with. Going to come up under this one because the other one was over top of it to start with. Over top here. Underneath this one. So basically, again, you're just weaving back. And again, you want to make sure that the yarn is going the opposite direction it did the first time around. So you're going to keep doing this until you get a nice full section, kind of how my red is nice and full on here. And if you want to do the V pattern, when you get this part nice and full, then you'll go up along this side. And then when you get that part kind of full, you'll stop and then add another piece in the middle to make a V, and then a little piece in the middle. If you want to do the straight colors, after you fill in this side to however far you want, probably about right here, you'll stop, you'll tie another color down, you'll do the middle, and then you'll do the last part. You'll just go straight up and down. And that's how you can do your two different patterns. Okay, I probably don't have enough thread to go all the way back down. So I'm going to go ahead, push this down as tight as I can. And like I said, you can get the fork if you need to. And I'm just going to take this off and basically knot it here at the top. So I made a loop. Maybe you can see it. And I'm just going to put the string through the loop, get it where I want it, push all this down, and then I'll pull it tight and it will be knotted. You can see that little knot there on the top of the thread. And then you can leave this as a tassel or you can cut it off. I'm just going to go ahead and cut mine off and now I'll start my next color. So since it's a little tight here at this end, I'm going to go ahead and knot the orange, which is going to be my next color here at the top where I kind of knotted the other one. And if you want a tassel, leave enough at the end to make a tassel. But I'm going to get that close to real close to the red knot and then just pull it. And I got my knot. And I'll leave that little part for now, I guess, the little tassel part. And after you get that, I'm going to thread my needle and start working my way up with the orange. I'm going to pull quite a bit through so I'm not having as much access to go with. So since this is kind of feels like it's over, I'm going to go under on the first one. And watch out for that branch so you don't get caught on there. Over and then up, underneath it, down. And if you have that tassel, it can get in the way, so keep an eye on that. Up, down, up, down, up, and now when I get to the end, so the end here was getting a little tight. I'm going to go ahead though and try to get it through the real tight string and get a little bit of orange there. If it gets where it's too tight, you could just start back over on this one if you need to. I'll probably show you that with the last thread so you understand what I'm saying. So basically, what it could look like is instead of trying to go through this tight one, I could just leave this now as my new one and start going back. And I think I'll do that. So instead of trying to go through the next one, I'll just make that now my new bottom string or end point and start going back the reverse direction. Again, I might have enough to go back, but I think that's as much orange as I want, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off the needle, and I'm going to loop it around the end here, and go through the loop to make a knot. Position where I want, and then I'll pull the knot tighter. And I'll leave a tassel bit on this orange one too. Alright, so there's 2 colors so far with some tassels. If I had left the red ones on each one and started on this side, I would have had 2 red tassels. So next I'll go ahead and get my next colors and start it up here and go, and it might be the last one. I might do a small one here. We'll see. Alright guys, I finished my weaving. I left some tassels on here. Like I said, if I had left some on the red, that would have had some for every color. And again, I kind of did the straight lines. If you wanted to do the V when you come down here with the red, instead of cutting it off, you would go back up and make the V that way, and then go down and up with the orange, and you probably wouldn't be able to do as many colors if you did the V. But that's your branch weaving. There's also instructions in your kit in case you get a little confused, and there's a little history on there too that kind of shows how this technique's been around for a long time. They really kind of used it to make fences, put the 2 branches and weave together, make fences or roofs for shelters for houses or baskets. So this is a really old technique. Of course, ours is just a pretty piece of artwork, and we hope you enjoy it and you come back and get the kit next month. Bye guys.